Everybody knows it's important to set goals. Everybody knows and has heard, how to set goals. I think what's really important here is that in the heat of the moment, when the game's on the line or there's a certain situation that others are counting on you, you're counting on yourself, you have to know why you're there, right? You have to know why you're there, what you're trying to accomplish. And there's big goals like winning the game, and there's little goals like making a first down, executing a play a certain way. Those are things that have to be top of mind for you, because in the heat of the moment, why are you there? And if you don't know why you're there, if you don't have a goal to go after, it's going to be very difficult to deal with pressure, to deal with distractions and interruptions. Now, some people think, well, I set goals, I'm going to put more pressure on myself. No, not really, because you've been practicing. You've been prepared for this. The goals are just a measuring stick for what you're trying to accomplish that given moment. And that's okay. If you don't get there, you don't get there. But at least you know what you're working towards. You have a focus to move towards.
Welcome to Charge Forward Coaching, the podcast for committed athletes and individuals who want to achieve more on and off the field. Hosted by James Blasco, certified mental toughness and resilience coach. You'll gain insights and inspiration from elite athletes, coaches, and others who know what it takes to excel. Are you ready to go to the next level? Then tune in, get inspired, and let's charge forward. Now here's your host, James Blasco.
Hi, I'm James Blasco, host of the Charge Forward Coaching Podcast. Thanks for joining. Well, today it's just me, but I have a topic to go over that's near and dear to my heart. I think it's one of the most important things as an athlete, as a professional, as somebody that's trying to achieve a specific goal, especially under pressure situations, that it's critical, and that is focus in attention control. There's a great book out there called Relentless. It's written by Tim Grover. He is or was the trainer for Michael Jordan for many years. And one of the things in the books he points out is that if you don't have focus and concentration and you can't control your environment, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to get into the flow, or what we call the zone. So it's really important to be able to manage and understand, your focus and attention control and improve it. And there are different ways to improve it. So if you watched any of the previous episodes on the 4 C's of mental toughness, those were commitment and challenge and control and confidence. And within those, each of those has 2 kind of separate factors that play a role within each one. So 2 that jump out to me in this conversation are emotional control and goal orientation. And emotional control is important because when you're in a game, you're in a situation where there is pressure, where there are distractions, things like that. It's important to be able to recognize the emotions you're feeling and manage those to the best of your ability. And as far as goal achievement, anytime you step into an arena, on the field, on the court, into the rink, it's really important to know why you're there, and you have goals, both individual goals and team goals. So those are critical when it comes to focus and concentration and attention control, because without those, you may struggle at times, because there's so many things that can distract us and interrupt us. And certainly when there's pressure, that pressure alone is a distraction. We need to understand how to manage it the best we can in those important situations. So what can you do about your focus and attention control? Well, there's several things that you can work on to improve that. So one of the things that is, I believe, primary, is kind of the foundation of what you should be doing, and that is practice. Whatever you're working on, if you're a football player, a quarterback, if you're a golfer, if you're a basketball player, any of these situations, you need to practice and try to perfect your skill. And the only way you could do that is repetition, practice, and intentional practice, being very focused at practice. And I know some of us love practice and some of us don't love practice, but it doesn't matter. The idea is the more you practice, the more automatic things become for you. So your throwing motion, your swing motion, right, shooting a free throw, any of that, if you do it over and over and over again, you do it properly and you focus on that that movement or that activity, it's going to become automatic. And that's critical in times of pressure and where there's distractions and interruptions and things you didn't even know were going to happen during the game or the event, that will help you get through that. So you could think about result, what you're trying to accomplish at that moment or during that time, instead of necessarily just the process, because your body's going to automatically know what to do. You're one step ahead. The other thing you do, and I love this, is a big part of my life, and that is create routines for yourself. I'm really big when I talk to people about creating routines, pre-game routines, routines during the game, post-game routines. It's really critical. One of the things with routines is that it takes the pressure off your mind to make decisions. You don't have that decision fatigue. So it's simple things. It's like when you get up in the morning, you don't want to spend 20 minutes in your closet figuring out what to wear. You already know what you're going to wear. Maybe you wear the same thing every day. Who knows? But the point is, your mind doesn't have to think about it. It's already there. You know when you're going to work out. You know when you're going to do homework, or you're going to work on XYZ project. You know when you're going to go to bed. All those things are really important. And sometimes it's impossible to stick to the exact routine because it's life and we're going to have interruptions and distractions, right? But it's part of practice. How do you handle that? How do you handle your routine being interrupted? What do you do? What's your B plan? Because when you're practicing, right, you need to prepare for B plans, because not everything's going to go the way you want it to go. We mentioned about goal achievement. I think this is critical as well. Everybody knows it's important to set goals. Everybody knows and has heard, how to set goals. Although we could have a separate podcast just on that. I think what's really important here is that in the heat of the moment, when the game's on the line, or there's a certain situation that others are counting on you, you're counting on yourself, you have to know why you're there, right? You have to know why you're there, what you're trying to accomplish. And there's big goals like winning the game, and there's little goals like making a first down, executing a play a certain way. Those are things that have to be top of mind for you, because in the heat of the moment, why are you there? And if you don't know why you're there, if you don't have a goal to go after, it's going to be very difficult to deal with pressure, to deal with distractions and interruptions. Now, some people think, well, I set goals, I'm going to put more pressure on myself. No, not really, because you've been practicing. You've been prepared for this. The goals are just a measuring stick for what you're trying to accomplish that given moment. And that's okay. If you don't get there, you don't get there. But at least you know what you're working towards. You have a focus to move towards. The other thing is, you need to learn how to manage the stress and do away with stress fatigue. And, that could be handled a few different ways, because there's physical stress on your body, right? Your body needs rest. So you got to stay healthy and fit. You got to get your rest, your 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And then you also got to look at the mental side and the mental fatigue, because that could kick in as well. And that's part of that routine process. And it's also part of, just being able to step away at times and do something else. So if you find yourself working, whether it's at a workout or you're studying the playbook or you're studying film, whatever it might be, there's times you should do that for a period and then step away. Go for a walk or jog or play a video game. Do something, but step away. Let your mind relax and then kind of get fuel back into it, so you could refocus and get back to what you're doing and be better equipped to not only learn, retain, and then move forward and execute on what you're learning. There's so many tools out there. There's apps, there's books. Just go online and search, for these apps. They're easy things to do. Some of the younger folks in the audience, you're going to love it. Video games are actually one of the tools you can use to help with focus, things like that. But it's really important. This whole focus and attention control. They did a study in the UK with adolescents, younger people, and their attention span right now is about 8 minutes. Now, it used to be about 10, 12 minutes. But here's the thing. Once they're distracted or interrupted, those types of things, and then they return to what they were doing, they have to go back like 3 minutes. It takes about 3 minutes just to refresh their mind, right? To to remember what they were doing or what they learned. So for every 8 minutes, you lose 3 minutes. And if you practice on focus and concentration, attention control, you could actually gain about 45 minutes in your ability to focus and concentrate, which I think is phenomenal. That would be amazing. No matter what you do, whether you're an athlete, a professional, whatever, that's huge. So, you could actually uncover where you stand with this emotional control or goal orientation or the other factors of the 4 C's by simply taking an assessment. There's an assessment that was designed by AQR International in the UK. They're one of the top psychometric research companies in the world, specifically on mental toughness. And it's called the MTQ Plus. It takes about 15 minutes. If you go to chargeforwardcoaching.com, you can learn more about it. You can book a discovery call. And if it's something you want to pursue, not only will you get your feedback on where you stand in these areas, but there's also tools to help you move forward and improve in those areas. So I'd be happy to help you do that. And it's a great tool to use. So visit chargeforwardcoaching.com. Make sure you like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. And most importantly, keep charging forward.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Charge Forward Coaching. Remember, the journey to greatness is built on mental toughness and consistent effort. So head on over to chargeforwardcoaching.com and book a free discovery call to take the next step in your journey. Until next time, stay focused, stay determined, and keep charging forward.